Hey, John here. So let's say you just finished routing a board. You're all excited. You want to order this baby up. And let's say you make something like this. And you look at your board and you got, 7,000 square millimeters. That's $55. It would cost you to get an ENIG board from Park. And while that's not too bad, if you look at this particular design, it's all through hole. It's really big parts. I don't really need gold. I can use a Hassel board. And, what are the other bids? Give me a competitive bid on this thing, right? So let's say you wander on over to PCBWay. This is a pretty popular place. As you can see, I already have an account set up over here. And here's my board. It's 100 by 70 millimeters, right? Well, you type it in and see what we can get here. It's 100 by 70, 2-layer, 5 PC boards, all right? It's going to be $5 for, 5 of these things. And, what else do we got going on here? 2-layer, FR4. This is all the same sort of thing you're going to get at Park. It's even a 6x6 board, which I'm surprised on. What do we got? Hill size. We're bigger than all these things. I can get green or whatever color I want. Gold fingers, no. Silkscreen is white. Hassel with lead. So this is a lead board. If you wanted to get a comparison to Park, you'd click on gold over here. We might change Hassel to ENIG at our discretion, which is fine with me. If they want to give me gold for the same price, that's fine. 1 ounce copper is a standard thing. I don't need any special stuff. I don't need stencils or anything else. Okay. So I can hit calculate now. What do I got? If I get 5 of these boards, I'll get them for $5. Shipping to the U.S. with DHL with 3 to 5 days is $17. So for $22, including shipping, I'll get this. And I have actually ordered from PCBWay before, and you do get these things in 3 to 5 days, all the way from China. Wow, So this seems pretty reasonable. So what do I have to do? I can't just give them my PCB file like I do at Park. So that's what the point of this is. So this is a $28. If you ran this at Park, it would be about $55 for the same thing. So let's say I want to go for this. Now, it took me a long time to find this. I think I did use Google to find it. If you go to their help center down here and you search for KiCad, they'll tell you, hey, generate Gerbers from KiCad. So here's what you need to do. And this is true for a lot of vendors that can't take the PCB file from KiCad. And what's also true from a lot of vendors, here's an example from 4 years ago. Okay, great. So how do you translate this to the current release? It's not too bad. What you do is you go in your PC board editor and you click on the plotter here, or you go over to File and you click on Plot here. It's the same thing. It opens up this window. Now, if you look at the PCBWay example, it says you want these features. This is incredibly common for all sorts of board manufacturers. This is what I've been using for years from many board fab houses. So the key is that they want to use the Protel names, and they want to see these layers with these options. Most of this is the default anyway, except for Protel. So boom, I want Protel. If you look at what's going on in here, you want to send them to copper. You don't need to send them the paste. The reason they ask for it is because one of the checkboxes on their order site is, do you want a stencil? That's what the paste layers are for. You want them to silk screens, otherwise you don't get any of the, the silk screen text. Solder mask, you need that, and the edge cuts so they know how big to make your board. So this is all fine. You got the 4.6. All right, that's all fine and dandy. And if you look in their thing, they got default line width is this, 4.6 millimeter units in the Protel name. So this is all fine and dandy, ready to go. What I do is I create a directory within my project. Here's my project directory, and I'll click this guy down here and I'll say Gerbers, because it's going to create a bunch of files and strew them all over the place and make a mess in here otherwise. And then I'm going to say, okay. Says, do you want to use a relative path? Yes, I do, because I've explained this before. If you move your project around on your PC, you want it to remember that it's Gerbers in the same directory as your project, wherever your project might have gone, not, home Winans project, blah, 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 Gerbers. So when you move your project around, it still saves your Gerbers in some other old directory. I find that annoying. So I have just now set everything up to save it there. I can hit plot, and now it created all these files that I'm going to send over to PCBWay. They're also going to want drill files. So if you scroll down further, they need to know where to drill the holes, right? So now you click on the drill file tab over on the thing, and it'll say what options do you want for your drill file. So we got to do the same thing again. So let's say go to drill files, and it opens this guy up. Exelon is very standard. Everybody does Exelon. Let's see here. So what does he got here? He says suppress. He's got inches, no leading zeros, minimal header. Okay. Minimal header. Inches, suppress leading zeros, absolute origin. That's what I've always used. I don't know if they'll take it either way or not. That's just what I've used, and I've run with PCBWay in the past. Okay, this is all good. So you say generate the drill file. You'll notice this is defaulting into Gerbers as well. I'm going to put it in the same place as my Gerber files. And I click this, and it says, okay, everything's fine. Close everything out of here. And now we're basically done. We're ready to send them to our files. Now, they recommend that you open up your the Gerber files with Gerber View, which is like the only button that I haven't shown you how to use yet on this up here, which is this guy right here. If you open this up, you can then say, where is it? Open Gerber files, and you can go into your projects Gerbers, and you can just say, give me all these. Edge cuts, where's the drill? Oh, these are all just Gerber files, so it says fine. The drill file is not an option. See where it says Gerber files only down here, so that's why I don't see that in there. So this is a view of your board. It's just like the PC board editor view kind of thing. But it says here's all the Gerber layers, and you can go through them and see what's going on. You can turn them on and off like this. I think you can change the stacking order and all this fun stuff. You can sort of see what they're supposed to be. They have the name of what it is. Here's the back copper. And here, where's the front copper? FCU is copper in the front. So if I grab the front one, I should be able to, how do I change the order? Change the color. Oh, I used to be able to move these around. How do you do that? Change the color, show all layers, hide all layers. Well, they give you various modes, and you can change like transparency. Nonetheless, I've not known KiCad to mess up my Gerbers in the past. These all seem pretty reasonable to me. If you turn off the, what is this one? Shut off the back. Look at the front maybe. Here we go. There's the top side copper, and I laid this thing out. I remember what it looks like. Here's the little, there's a transformer over here, and this all makes sense. There's nothing super glaring, like, if the polygon fill overlaid all the tracks and shorted everything out, you might notice that in here, right? So that's really what you're doing. Are they readable? Do they make sense? Yes, they do. These are mounting holes and other mounting holes along here. Some of these, there's a ground plane. Some of the pins are grounded, some are not. And that all makes perfect sense. All right, so we've verified. This is what the Gerber Viewer is really for. That's all fine and dandy. At the end, it says, look, make a zip file out of all your individual Gerbers and the drill file. Now, I'm on Linux. Let's go ahead and get out of here. I've saved everything. Go ahead. Okay. Quit. I should have a terminal window in here somewhere. Here we go. And here's my project. Is it this one or it's this one? Here you go. Gerbers. All right. So what they want you to do is zip all this stuff up. What is it? R dot tilde or either dot slash gerb. I might name it the same as my project. Dot zip. Okay. Got an extra slash in there. Oops. Forgot how to use zip. Zip, blah, 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 yada, yada. The zip file, and then the... Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, I did it out of order. You say... There's the zip file, and then what you want to put in there, which was the directory dot in my case. So there should be a zip up here. There it is. If I say unzip -L, which says list all the files in that zip file, there they all are. Ba-da-da-da-da. Here's the drill files, okay, that you don't get to see on the Gerber viewer. So when you're done with all that, you go over here and somewhere you say, oh, you know what you do? I think you actually add it to your cart first. I want to buy this thing. And then it says, give me my files. And I can say add a Gerber file. And I can open up my project that I'm working on, which is this one, which is right here. It'll munge on it for a little while. So at this point, what happens is this particular site puts it in review, which means somebody over there manually is going to check this out and say, oh, do I really want to, is this good? Can we make this? I can submit an order. I don't know if that means that I'm actually going to buy it or not, which I'm not going to do. Let's hit skip. Now what's going to happen is it's sitting here. Now this is just the way PCBWay works. See where it says under review? This is a project under review. Now I'm probably going to upset everybody by having all these projects under review that I never buy, but it's free marketing for them, so I don't know why they're griping. Now it says file not uploaded. I probably, because I'm talking and not thinking, I must not have actually sent the zip file. By hitting skip, I think I put this in my cart and didn't put the zip. That's not too intuitive. I guess I want to hit submit order now instead of skip or whatever. I'm going to kill out of here. But nonetheless, if you hit submit order now, it will go into this under review status. And eventually you'll get an email that says, hey, we're done now. At that point in time, you'll come back in here and you'll log in and you'll go to your little account thingy and you'll see my order and stuff like that. You'll get to view then whether you have things under review or waiting to be paid and so on like that. You'll come in here and it'll say awaiting payment when they approve this order, okay? Then you go to PayPal, whatever, and you can go ahead and order your files. When you're in here and you look for awaiting payment, check very closely on the price. Once in a while, I'll upload a file on here, and what'll happen is it will exceed their requirements. Like, for example, notice when you go in here and you go, oh, I want to look at the instant quote board or whatever. You don't need to do this. How do you, which is this thing? If you have 5 mil track spacing, or I think what happened was the last time I submitted an order, I ended up with 0.25 millimeter holes. I wasn't looking closely at the design rules. This is okay for OshPark, but it's not okay for PCB. For OshPark, they'll go to 2.5 in their standard configuration. But in here, you will not get a $5 board if you go to 2.5. That'll end up going to like $28 or something like that. Click on calculate to show price. It wants me to decide on this again. That's fine. If you'll notice here, now I'm all the way up to $47. And the only thing I did is change this minimum hole size. So when you're doing your board, your design rules, keep in mind where you're going to send your board. That's the takeaway on this, okay? The cheapo boards are on, some specific criteria. My point here is if you chose 2.5 millimeter holes and you ordered it at a $5 and you misconfigured that, what happens is they'll find that out and they'll say, oh, wait, I had to change your order. And the next thing you know, this goes from $5 to $47 plus $17 in shipping. And now your price is so high, it would have been cheaper to just go with OshPark anyway. So be very careful when you follow this on your way through. I found that a little bit disorienting The fact that it goes under review and then you wait, it looked like I was supposed to order it now. No, that's not how this one works. So you submit your files, which I screwed up by hitting skip. I did that really because I don't want to upset them by sending fake orders in that I'm not going to buy. I might have to create a new count because I keep upsetting them and never buying anything, right? Anyway, it'll sit here for a while. You'll get an email that says, come back to the site, and it'll move through this sequence of steps. All right? And you get the things, like I said, in like 3 or 4 days. I couldn't believe how fast it was from China when you got to wait 10 days or 12 days from Osh Park in the U.S. Those of you overseas, it probably doesn't matter anyway. So anyway, that's how you export Gerbers for a place like PCBWay, and you can get your boards. In fact, if you wanted to wait a month or something, by the way, you can get them for like $2 in shipping, and the whole thing then comes in like $6-7, which is fantastic. But of course, they'll send it over literally on a boat, and it'll take like a month to get here in one of those e-packets or something like that. Of course, those of us in the U.S. also have to wonder at what point various tariffs might come into play here and could get this whole price out of whack. Of course, even if they charged 50% tariff on a $5 order, that only brings you up to $7.50, and it's still a good deal. So anyway, let me know what you think. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.